You done right. No nonsense, real and raw, just like you like it.
He's corrupt, he's inexperienced, and he lies.
Broadcasting from a broom closet in the Arizona Lotus Studios, it's Beef Vegan Presents.
Yo, welcome back to the show. It's Beef Vegan Presents live on Rock 102.1 KFMA, streaming worldwide at KFMA.com on this beautiful Friday, August 25th. Good morning, Todd Marlie.
Good morning, Beef Vegan.
Good morning, Tucson. We got a show for you today. Tons of listener bait galore. Going to be giving away tickets for the Freaks on Parade tour. Going to be giving away tickets for Story of the Year. We're going to double up on those. So pretty much every hour, you're going to have an opportunity to win tickets to an awesome show that's here. Well, one of them's here in town. The other one's up north, Phoenix, as you will. Pretty historic day. We got, let's do top story right off the bat. Mine as well, the elephant in the room, because it's not every day that a photograph is taken that you know is going to be forever. Like a moment in history that if this country lasts another 250 years,
this photo will keep coming up.
This photo will keep coming up. Of course, we're talking about the Trump mugshot. Now, a lot of people were anticipating the release of the mugshot from Trump. And, I'm not going to come at you with a bunch of hot takes. This is not, and nor will it ever be a political show, right?
I will rate the photo as a photo itself. And as far as mugshots go, not great. The lighting is terrible.
Well, I thought the lighting was okay. But again, we're not going to get into political hot takes.
Nope.
But I do have a couple, odd takeaways. Not hot takes. They're takeaways. Totally different, Todd.
Totally different.
There's a couple things that I find really intriguing and interesting about this photograph. Okay. That the photograph will both, is going to be celebrated differently by two different groups of people. Okay. And let me explain. Okay. So there's going to be the people who are going to celebrate the fact that this mugshot signifies, an arrest of a former president and consequences to alleged crimes and whatever. Basically, they're celebrating the downfall, right? Then you got the side that's the supporters that are using this they're going to celebrate this as almost like an iconic image to celebrate, like, this is my leader, right? So they're both going to be using this image. You're going to see it in memes. You're going to see it on T-shirts, and it's going to be the same image, but a different message on opposite ends of the spectrum.
It'll be laughed at or martyred.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's so odd to see that. It's like, but there hasn't been a more anticipated photograph since, I guess, maybe Nipplegate, Janet Jackson still from the Super Bowl halftime show. Maybe
that might be personal anticipation.
Possibly. I wanted to see exactly what that jewelry was all about. But no, like it is an odd thing that, immediately, like, that there was T-shirt makers all over the country.
Oh, immediately.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Right. And they're ready to make this T-shirt. And some of those T-shirt makers were going to write "ha-ha" on one T-shirt. And the other will, write like, "we will never back down," or whatever, statement. So that's intriguing.
As the official not lawyer of Beef Vegan Presents, I'd like to remind all of our listeners that this was not a hot take. This was only a takeaway.
That's right. It was a takeaway. Already coming in with the announcer voice, but it was just a hot takeaway. Just a small one, and it will be interesting to see how, this photograph, will be celebrated or laughed at for days, years, and decades to come. But it's the first you saw it yesterday. It won't be the last you see it. You're going to see it a lot. And, someone who grew up in the gangster rap era, I'm like, okay, well, there you go. That's a pretty tough pose. He basically posed like I would pose for my pictures in junior high.
He's mean mugging.
Yeah.
100%.
That's every single photograph you come across me, a young Beef Vegan, for age like 12 to like 17, same pose. Same pose. You say cheese, and I'll frown and be like, yeah, because I was raised to believe that smiling in a photograph makes you look like a little bitch, right? So you got to be hardcore. And so I felt like in a way, you know, he kind of tapped into the mid-90s spirit in that mugshot where he's just like, oh, yeah, I got to say cheese. Oh, let me think. What would Tupac do? Okay, yeah, got it. And then mean mug, boom, got it. Sent it to the prince and off to the races, I guess. Literally, apparently. I don't know. That's it. That's all I'm talking about. I've already walked the minefield. I stepped on a couple mines. Let's keep the ball moving. And this is how we're going to do that. We hit the hard reset by gifting you tickets because music brings people together. You don't have to ask anyone who they voted for if they're standing to the left or the right of you at the Alice Cooper Rob Zombie show.
No.
Alice Cooper actually is,
if you're asking,
making people mad politically as we speak, too, and Carlos Santana as you will. And,
no, not that one either. No.
All these old classic rock guys are all doing hot takes in their stance on transgender stuff, and I'm like, they must have got together at the country club, and they were all like, you know what grinds my gears? Now they're all saying it at the same time. You know, they're all like 3 years after the fact saying, I stand with Dave Chappelle. Like, what? Why? I thought we were past this, but okay. That's neither here nor there. This is not a political show. It'll never be a political show. Let's get into giving away tickets for Rob Zombie and Alice Cooper Freaks on Parade tour. So here's how we're going to do that. Very simple. It's a round of musical chairs. I'm going to kick off the show playing Living Dead. Let me just stop that right now so I don't get a bunch of people calling in for that. You got Valdez here. Todd Marlie still here. Good morning, everybody. We're back here live. That was my closest to political rant to start off the day. But, you know, I thought it'd be doing a disservice to the show if I didn't even mention, like, history being made. Sometimes there's just historic things that happen. But, again, this is not a political show, nor will it ever be. Good morning. I'm Valdez. You said they're going in strong on me for tomorrow and all weekend long. Join Beef Vegan. All that stuff. Yeah. And they have to, though, because it's Jim Click. It's their big tent event sale that they do annually, and they spend a lot of money advertising it. And I'm going to be out there. So it makes sense. It's not about me. It's really about Jim Click and them trying to sell cars. That's what it is.
And the best part is there's some used vehicles that are priced under $10,000.
Oh, look at you. You got all those.
He's going to be at Jim Click Hyundai East. He's going to be at Jim Click Ford East, and he's going to be at Jim Click Mazda East. Hardest working Vato on radio, Beef Vegan.
I'm Valdez.
Yeah, well, I am trying to get that. I am trying to just get that money just so I could fix my car. I can't afford a new one, but I could barely even afford to maintain the little Kia Soul that I have right now, which sucks though, because I'm like, damn, this would be a good time to get a car. Used cars under $10,000. That's nice. And I know that my daughter's bugging me. Well, she's bugging me for a cat. She was bugging me for a car. Now she's bugging me for a cat. And I so don't want to get a cat that I might have to cave in and buy her a car.
Here's a car. Stop bugging.
Yeah. Like, can we make a compromise? Here's a car. We're not getting a cat. You could name the car, give it a cat name, call your car Garfield, and just leave me that alone. But yeah, so
slap a cat sticker on it, be like, here's your car cat.
Yeah, we're gonna be doing that too. Like, well, tomorrow from like 11:30 to 6:30, it's like 7 hours. I'm gonna be hanging out in parking lots and car dealerships. It's like I'm in the 80s all over again because my dad was a car dealer, growing up. So yeah, it's gonna be nostalgic.
Conveniently located on the corner of Wilmot and 22nd.
Spoken like somebody who just read a bunch of copy.
Yeah, no, in fact, actually, we're back on the air real quick. And Valdez, of course, he's going to be doing a morning show as he does each and every Saturday. Good morning, Valdez.
Morning, I'm Valdez.
I'm Valdez.
Yes, so, he actually knows where I'm going to be tomorrow more than me. Where am I starting off at tomorrow?
So I believe it's Jim Click Mazda East. And
okay.
That's going to be from 11:30 to 1:30.
Okay.
And then you're going to be at Jim Click Hyundai East from 2 to 4. And then you're going to, why do I know all this?
That's good.
Because you just read the copy.
Jim Click Ford East from, this is weird, 4:40 to 6:30. And I had to be a human and say normal times instead of like 14:40 to 18:30.
Oh, yeah, instead of military times? Yeah, which is good. So, yeah, I'm basically going to be at all the gym clicks tomorrow, starting at 11:30. It is going to be a long day for me, for sure. So,
yeah, I was reading those. I'm like, wow, that's a long-ass day.
I know. I'm kind of hogging all that stuff. But, by request,
this is what you wanted, Beef.
Yeah, it is what it is. Unfortunately, Robin Nash, couldn't make it down, but she's busy this weekend. And they didn't request Razor. They're just like, hey, we want someone out there to represent the station. Just don't send Razor. And they're like,
ouch.
Okay, yeah, we'll just send Beef. I know it's rough. It's rough. I don't make the rules. Jim Click does. All right. So
Hey, man, he who's got the money makes the rules.
absolutely. We got the podcast broadcast going live here. We're going to do a lot today. It's going to be fun. I have some videos I want to share with you. Of course, I'm going to have Valdez and Todd Marlie face off in a game. And we have new music to share with you this hour from Bad Omens that I'm going to play for you right now. Here's The Death of Peace of Mind, Rock 102.1 KFMA. Join us on the podcast broadcast, youtube.com/beefvegan. I ran out of breath, apparently. All right. And then TMI Top 5 is next, but they don't need to know that. I already mentioned that. But yeah, so if you guys are in the market for a car, you want to hang out, let's hang. Dave said beef is an east side. Yeah, bring E and J. That's funny.
Yeah, that's what they want you doing at a car dealership. Heavy drinking.
In Florida, they do. Yeah, and happy Friday there. And that's cool. So yeah, I'll grab a piece of pizza for sure. I will be right down the street. You know, it's funny. It is an east side locations, but it doesn't seem east side to me. You know, this whole east side of Tucson nonsense needs to stop. I mean, you can't say anything past the 10 is west side, or you can say that. Then anything on the east side of the 10 should be the east side. It's so close together that I don't believe you should separate it. You know, you're creating a division that doesn't even exist. Like I live on Speedway and Alvernon. I don't want to say Grant and Alvernon, that's ghetto. Speedway and Alvernon, a little bit better. 1 mile apart, mind you. Okay. But I have people like, oh, I live all the way on the east side. I'm like, okay, let me Google that location. I'm on my way. Oh, 2.2 miles. What the fuck? That is not east side. That is just down the road. That is 2 metric miles away. And you know, so the east side.
Essentially Imperial.
Yeah,
Imperial
it's the
miles.
same
It's not
thing.
metric.
In my brain, like east side's like Golf Links Harrison, you know,
Yeah.
East Campus kind of area.
Yeah, well, Jeff's asking is downtown still considered the center of town?
I hope so.
It's in
Yeah.
the heart.
Yeah, I
Maybe
would
not
say
the
that.
center, but the heart.
I
don't
think because
know.
our city's grown so much, like the sides of town have gotten bigger.
A little bit. Miranda's growing, and of course, the Oro Valley is growing. There definitely is a north side, and there's definitely a south side. I think the rest of it's kind of smushed together there. They say Anthony says Houghton is east side, and then where from Anthony lives, that would be considered east side. And I'm sure you know Anthony actually because he does air conditioning and you know like provides that service, right? So I know he's all over town. So there's certain aspects where he would consider east side, but coming from the location and considering like the road layout is such shit and there aren't freeways, that's the only like part that I could agree with. Because it takes you 45 minutes to get to this side of town, but it's only 3 square miles away. It's frustrating. Roofing. Yes, you do roofing. I'm sorry. Duh. Air conditioning was something different. My bad.
I open
Nah,
my computer and that's what pops up.
Yeah, you know, it's funny too. Well, you got porn popping up. Manny, I have an HVAC guy coming in. I have to interview here soon. And I have no reason why. I have no idea why. What are you saying?
Oh, that's a different cluster. Okay.
I opened up my computer and the first thing that comes up, it's like apply now for a morning show on a rival station.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know. They hit me up. I was like, sorry, man. I'm under contract for another year. I have to keep kicking your ass. My bad.
Can I put you as a reference?
Yeah, you could try. Yeah. Oh, you want to try to compete against me, Valdez?
It says co-host or host. I can do the co-host part.
Right. Yeah, but then who would be the host?
We need to keep him. If he goes to another station and says I'm Valdez there, we're ruined.
Well, you know, I mean, I do enjoy the competition. I'll tell you that much. But you are right. Valdez is a star who made himself.
I'm Valdez.
But you know, at the same time, if you're on the winning side. If you cross that picket line and you want to try to compete against me, I'm sorry, big man. I'm gonna have to take you down. That's just the way it is. I
want to take on somebody else.
I know you do. That's why you're on this team. All right. We are back here live, Rock 102.1 KFMA. Let's get into the TMI top 5. These are top 5 headlines I got to share with you. I didn't get a chance to get to today.
Number 1 headline: cross us and it's over.
Yeah. Here's our first off. There was an SUV that was missing for months and was recovered and pulled out of a river in Idaho on Tuesday. The reason why, apparently, a drunk man had driven into a river and got out somehow and then forgot what happened to it. So he was blackout.
I don't remember where I parked last night.
Yeah. Imagine getting so drunk, waking up the next morning drenched and missing your car and be like, oh, what the hell happened? This is like the Hangover Part 4.
I mean, that's what Ted Kennedy did, but he left a chick in the car. So he lost a girl and a car.
I like that reference.
Historical reference.
Yes,
Good job,
absolutely.
Timely.
right.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah. All right. Next headline. About 1/3 of Americans believe it's unacceptable to tell someone to man up. Do you agree or disagree with this?
I think those people need to man up.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, they should nut up.
Yeah. Nut up or shut up, man up, stand up, just make sure you make it rhyme. And I think we're legit. But maybe, I don't know. That 1/3, I'm sure. I'm not going to say anything else. It's just like, I'm already eye rolling now.
It's funny because even my female friends, they like play softball leagues and soccer, and they tell each other to nut up.
Yeah.
And they don't even own nuts.
Yeah, dude. I mean, at some point,
Have a lot of balls, though.
look, it's not literal. It's not literal. Let's say, you know what the definition means, and it just means to, just suck it up. And when times get tough, just keep on grinding. What are some of the popular sayings, right? When times get tough,
The going gets tough, the tough get going.
yeah, there you go. Shit, stuff like that.
Bad times don't last. Bad guys do.
Nah. All right, moving forward. DiGiorno has just created a pineapple pickle pizza. Would you eat this?
I'd try it.
Pickle
I'd try it.
I would actually.
I think it would be
I don't know if
disgusting.
I'd eat it. I would try it. If I liked it, I'd eat it. But you're only getting that far
What the
right
hell
now.
does that mean? So are you gonna do like wine?
I
Just
think
chew
about
on
it.
it
Yeah,
and spit
I'm
it
gonna
out?
taste it, swish it around my mouth, spit it out if I need to. I'm gonna taste it.
I'll tell you what, I just had pickle on my pizza earlier this week. It was a frozen pizza, and it was a Cuban and sandwich inspired pizza. So I had like a Swiss cheese, and it's actually really good because it tasted like a Cuban. But normally, I'm not a big fan of pineapple or pickle on pizza. Now, if you think it's disgusting, the good news is it's not going to be available in stores. It's just one of those stunts where they're asking people to enter to win, so you can go to their website because they're giving out 100 of them. So,
No, I don't want it that bad.
Wow.
yeah.
Maybe Squared Up the next time they come, they could do a half pickle, half pineapple pie, and we could try it.
Don't make him ruin his pie like
Yeah,
that.
don't do a
make
Pizza
him do
Pat. No, you know what,
What
Pizza
if it's
Pat?
the most delicious thing? What happens?
I don't think it will be. Pizza Pat knows what's going to be delicious on a pizza. He just came back from a world-renowned pizza competition in San Francisco
Hell
where
yeah.
he excelled. So, and he also picked up a couple extra tips. I think tip number 1 is don't put pineapple on your pizza. Tip number 2 is definitely don't accompany it with pickle. Right?
I don't know if Pizza Pat brought it in and put that in front of me, I would trust him.
Well, just because the alliteration is awesome, then maybe Pizza Pat should have pineapple pickle pizza. Pizza Pat's pineapple pickle pizza sounds pretty picklelicious.
You did that flawless. I would have jacked that all up.
It's pretty peculiar
That's
as well. Thank you. All right, finally, I know I got so many peas in me. All right, and finally, the final headline of the day: don't piss off a baby's mama. A baby mama could be one of the most vengeful women that you'll ever come across.
How did you do the rhyme and then get vengeful?
I used it all. I used all my
All the winnings used up, folks.
Yeah.
That's it.
yeah. I'm on E.
Let's try that one again. Take
Empty,
two.
not Molly. All right. So there's no more person more vengeful than an ex-girlfriend who's also your baby mama. I'll give you an example of this. The ex-girlfriend and baby mama of Miami Dolphins cornerback Eli Apple is offering to pay the fines for any player to hurt him on the field. Straight up. She's taking her OnlyFans money and she's going to pay any and all fines if they injure her ex-boyfriend and baby daddy, Eli Apple. Now, she wants to be injured because he refused to volunteer when their son needed a transfusion. So it's somewhat legit, right?
Oh, reason to be pissed? Sure.
Yeah. So now she's essentially headhunting. And it's no word yet if any NFL players are going to take her up on that offer, but I think she's probably pretty hot as well. So I'm sure there's going to be at least one guy who's like, I'll take the money and smash. So that's your TMI top 5. We're going to keep the conversation moving on the podcast broadcast, youtube.com/bevegan. Pizza Pat and the I know, man. I tried it like, oh yeah, look at me. I'm a wordsmith. And then immediately run into a brick wall.
Vengeful.
I know.
You were like 8 Mile for a second. You just spat out some hot fire.
Yeah.
You think about it.
Damn.
He has to flow. If he thinks about it, his mind kicks in. His mind is a speed bump, is a literal speed bump.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
If he turns that sucker off, it's smooth sailing. But as soon as that speed bump shows up, man, it's 22 miles an hour and it's still going to get really bumpy.
So Dirt McGurp's asking, you explained once why Valdez doesn't say I'm Valdez on the air, but I only caught the tail end. Had something to do with the guy across the
I got
hall.
this one. It's too powerful, you see. If we were to let it out all the time. If we were to let it every single time it could possibly be out, if he were to go, I'm Valdez every time, we would have addicts pounding down our door.
We do.
People would be crushing through to get to Valdez. So we pull him back. We hold him back for your safety, not for anything else. We would love to turn him loose, but Valdez is too powerful. We can't let him out. So you're welcome.
Damn, what am I, ketamine?
I think there's ketamine in his jerky.
The real answer is corporate for some reason doesn't like it.
Yeah, and well, I think that's the real
Which is why
reason.
I'm dressed up today, because I have a job interview after here.
Yeah, which is a bummer. I'll tell
You
you
look
what,
slick.
I'm going to continue to play.
You looking tight there.
Thank you.
Listen, if you end up leaving this job, which, I understand if you do, but I, of course, would
The
wish
drop's
you if
ours. You can't
do.
have it back.
Yeah. I'm still going to play the I'm Valdez drops after traffic, regardless. So, but I would hope that you still stick around one way or another and be able to do both,
Well, the best part, if I get the job that I'm interviewing for today, that leaves my mornings open so I could come harass you whenever you want.
That's good. And you are pretty hardcore with your schedule. I mean, you have the energy of a smaller man, as a big man to have that kind of energy and stamina, it's impressive.
Because I'm fueled by beef jerky.
Yeah. Yes. That's Todd Marlie's beef jerky. All right. So here's what I think the reason is. Now, the excuse that Valdez got was corporate said no. I don't think that's the case. I assume, and it's just, again, a theory, and I have nothing to really back it up.
That's what it is.
No, I know, Todd. Let me spit it out, okay, so we can move forward. So,
But I don't want to.
I don't care.
It's nerd stuff.
No, I know. All right, so it's because of a fragile ego that did not like the attention being taken away from them, and I think it was an individual complaint with somebody who had some spiteful feelings towards Valdez,
Freaking weirdo,
who did not like the fact that he was getting over on his show. So they had to put a kibosh to it. But everyone else, when I say everybody, I mean everyone in the fucking building, Mike and Mix, ESPN, they all loved it. And they all hear the same complaints that people are like, why doesn't Valdez say I'm Valdez at the end of it? It was so quirky. It's so silly. It just worked. And he got himself over doing it. And I'm proud of him for it. And that's why, I'm just doing it. I got that drop. I put it in now as I prep my show in the morning, as I get the video files ready, get my show content
First
ready.
thing, runs into the studio, hits play on it 5 times, and just zones out for a while.
No. And then I balance out my commercials, and then I will put the I'm Valdez drop after each traffic report. I was going to put it before and after each traffic report today.
Too powerful.
Todd vetoed that. So
we should make a horrible trap song. There's like a bass drop. It's like, I'm Valdez. No,
that'd be sick. That would be sick. We got to get into our single song takeover, which
we're gonna collab on that.
I want to introduce this real quick, and then we're gonna play a game: Valdez versus Todd Marlie in Golf Course or Rehab. Okay, have you played this game before, Valdez?
I have not.
Okay, good.
Okay, you can have a little bit.
Yeah, so
all your games are fun, so I look forward to them.
Yeah, this one's a silly one. Hold on. Rock 1 2.1 KFMA. It's time for the single song takeover. This one is a personal favorite of mine, and maybe it's because I relate to it so much. It's no secret that I'm a big fan of Portugal the Man, even though they continue to kind of lean towards pop, but they're fantastic musicians. Seeing them live is definitely a spiritual experience. And off of their album, it's the one that has Modern Jesus on it. I'm spacing on the name of the album, to be honest with you. But this song, Creep in a T-shirt, I remember hearing this live for the first time, and I'm like, that's me. I'm a creep in a T-shirt, right? And there's a line in there. I'm just a creep in a T-shirt, jeans, and I don't effing care. And I'm like, boom. If there are any words that ever spoke directly to my soul, it was those words right there by John and the boys in Portugal the Man. So my single song takeover to kick off your weekend is Creep in a T-shirt for Portugal the Man. Turn it up and enjoy. It's Rock 1 2.1. All right. And speaking of which, I want to enjoy this. And earlier this morning, we did a little morning one. Did we not, Todd?
We did.
Yeah. And it was fantastic. And in case you missed it, it went a little something like this. for
on.
Beat Bella at around 8:10 this morning. So she's been wanting those Rob Zombie tickets more so than I think than anybody. Anyone that's been listening to this show anyway.
Right? We haven't found a person. We'd like to.
Well, no, there's been a lot of people trying to get those tickets and asking about those tickets, but Bella has been on it. So I'm giving her an opportunity to not only win those tickets, but she has to defend those tickets away from listeners. So we'll do the game gauntlet around 8:10 this morning if you want to try to win those tickets and steal them away from Bella. You have an opportunity to. All right. Well, anyways, it is now 6:15. Let's do our morning moron. All right. Today's morning moron is not a criminal, which is good. Okay. It's just a straight up moron.
Oh,
Yeah. Now, a lot of times you'll find morning morons in their natural habitat. That natural habitat is usually an airplane. A lot of morning morons end up flying and
confined
doing
spaces.
yeah, the confined spaces, and they end up doing two stupid things. It just happens.
Mhm.
Now, here's an example of a stupid thing and a morning moron. This was an American Airlines flight that was going from Miami to New York, and they had to do an emergency landing. And the reason why they had to do an emergency landing is because of a quote unquote pepper spray incident.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
no, a pepper spray incident. Like, how can you even bring pepper spray on
an
airplane?
airplane,
Yeah, it's odd. Well, it was a woman who did it, and she did it accidentally. So she was reaching in her bag for some hand lotion, but she grabbed the pepper spray instead, and without looking, went to just squirt a little bit out on her hands. And when she did,
don't those have a safety on them? Like you have to twist it first, and like she went to like, oh, not working, twist it. Oh, so refreshing.
that's a good question. And maybe she had some super fancy lotion that you had to twist first just to protect any lotion from coming out. But maybe they also make it to where it's very user friendly and convenient because, again, it's for self defense. And for women, it could have looked like lipstick or any little normal.
Yeah, not saying it's not an important tool to have, but maybe be careful.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Or at least look what you're doing before you put stuff in your hands, right? Now, once it happened, passengers in the back of the plane began unexpectedly coughing and complaining that they couldn't see. This is not good. Just imagine you're like, oh, that's not good. That's not good. Oh, well, hopefully nobody will notice. And then like 3 rows behind you, I can't see. What's going on? Help! Shoot. Like, you sitting there, you want to not like admit that it was your bad in this situation because you're about 20,000 feet above the ground. There's nowhere to go, right? So those looks, those daggers out of the eyes, they're coming your way and they're not going to stop shooting your direction. Now, the disturbance grew enough that the guilty woman eventually had to own up what she accidentally did. I wish there was like a phone video of this. I would love this. Like, attention, everyone. I just real quick, I just want to say, my bad. I had very ashy hands. They were cracking. I just wanted a little bit of lotion.
Right.
And
I had my mask on. I didn't
Yeah.
want to take it off.
Yeah. Now, I was able to bring this pepper spray on me in my purse, but I had to throw away my toothpaste because that was 2.5 ounces. You tell me, is it you want to blame me or you want to blame the system? Somehow pepper spray is allowed, but like hand sanitizer, if it's over a certain amount, is not. I don't get it. Anyways, the plane did touch down in Jacksonville where paramedics were able to treat those affected. Just because I want to point out, look how short Todd looks with the camera angle in there. Do you see how his camera angle is
like in the way bottom frame.
Yeah, he's not a tall man to begin with, but yeah, I mean, like optically, he made himself.
That's where you put. You didn't lie. You don't let me see it.
I thought you were gonna stand. It was just fantastic, but it is so good because you look like you're just kind of peeking in on there. It's great.
Can I go be a vegan?
You make me look like I'm 7 feet tall, and I appreciate that. So, all right, that was your morning moron, the pepper spray chick.
Please, can I have some more vegan?
So funny. I want to get this set up because we're going to talk about this next. There's a news story about a naked man and a robot dog, and it's funny audio and video as well. So we're going to show that and listen along on the air. But before we get into that, as promised, let's see. Well, first off, I got a couple things I got to do here. I want to do that.
I'm Valdez.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. People dig it. Ali, Spears, they said the same thing, man. People were all complaining about the same thing. When I was at Incubus, that was the number one most common conversation topic that I came across with meeting listeners. Were they would say like the things like, "Hey, love the show," blah 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 blah. And by the way, why doesn't Valdez? And like every single time, man, it was such a trip. So yeah, we fixed it. All right, I want to play a game. All right, the game, golf course or rehab. All right, as you know, as we have done this game before and explained it before, that golf courses and rehabs actually sounds very similar in the way that they present and brand themselves. Their names are almost indistinguishable. All right, so I'm going to give you a name and a location of a place, and you're going to have to tell me whether it's a golf course or a rehab facility. Now, we'll go one at a time. We'll do 4 rounds of that. If you guys are somehow tied up at the end of 4 rounds, we'll do a sudden death round where you're going to buzz in with your name. First person take a stab at it. If they get it right, they're going to win the game. If they get it wrong, the deal. Technically, their opponent's going to win. Okay? Golf course or rehab. Todd Marlie. Here's the first one. It's called Beartooth in Powell, Wyoming.
Beartooth in Powell, Wyoming. That is a golf course.
That is a golf course. That is incorrect.
Disappointing.
Yeah, very disappointing.
Damn.
Yeah.
I was thinking the same
Yeah,
thing.
it sounds like a good
I know.
golf course name.
No, I know. It's an excellent golf course name, but it's also a great rehab name, apparently.
I don't agree with that. I would have said rehab if that was true.
Well, Meth Tooth would have been a better name for
Yeah,
it,
there
I
you go.
guess.
Yeah, that would have given away the game.
Yeah, because, tweakers have those Meth Tooth just because, all the rest of the teeth fell out. So it's just a Meth Tooth. All right, here's our next one. Valdez, golf course or rehab. It's called Twin Warriors in Santa Ana Pueblo, New Mexico. Twin Warriors in Santa.
The fact that it's in New Mexico, like that's the meth capital of the United States. So I'm gonna go rehab.
Well, according to Breaking Bad, but that's not necessarily true. I mean, Arizona had that title for many years. The Midwest, definitely.
Have
Oklahoma.
you been to Albuquerque?
I know. There's tweakers there.
I've been there.
Look, we're sister states, right? So it's very methy on both of us. But don't forget Oklahoma and Missouri, and there's a lot of.
We don't have all the meth. Okay?
Yeah, dude. Those places. Yeah. Those places have like really blown up in meth usage, and it would be interesting. I'll Google to see per capita who is officially the meth capital of the world. But Breaking Bad would make you assume it's going to be New Mexico, but I don't think it is. Now you said rehab because it is the meth capital of the world. Well, you are
wrong.
There it is. A little delay. That's fine. All right. So yes, that is a golf course. Twin Warriors in Santa Ana Pueblo, New Mexico. Okay.
I don't feel confident about this game anymore.
No, you guys are doing terrible.
We're gonna owe
back on air.
points by the time we're done.
None. We don't need points.
In
Points are
fact,
overrated.
you guys are doing so bad at this game. I want to play some on the air. We're playing golf course or rehab.
Oh, that's good. Let's embarrass ourselves in front of the entire state. Man,
you're fine. All right. So it's very difficult to tell the difference between the names of the two. And Todd and Valdez have just proven this fact by getting both wrong. The first one I asked Todd if it was a rehab or a golf course was Beartooth in Powell, Wyoming. He said golf course.
Sounds like a golf course.
Unfortunately, that is a rehab. Now, the other one that I did to Valdez, the Twin Warriors in Santa Ana Pueblo, New Mexico, he thought it was a rehab, but unfortunately, that was a golf course. All right. So, back to Todd Marlie. Is this a golf course or a rehab?
I don't know. I'm scared.
It's called Branson Hills in Branson, Missouri.
Branson Hills in Branson, Missouri.
Now, we're just debating what would be the meth capital of the United States.
But
And
it could
so
be
many
Missouri,
different.
but I'm sticking with golf course.
You're going to stick with golf course?
Let's stick with golf course.
All right.
Like a golf
It's going to
course.
come through eventually.
That is correct.
Hey, it did
Yes.
it. Golf course paying off.
All right, that's 1 point for Todd Marlie. So the Valdez, you got to get this right to stay in the game. Are you ready?
Yes.
It's called Creekside in West Virginia. Well, I don't know how to Lavalette, West Virginia.
Lafayette.
Creekside.
No, it's not Lafayette because it's Lavalette.
Okay.
Do they spell Lafayette
No,
with a V?
no, you're right.
All
You're
right.
right.
You never know. It's West Virginia. They do things differently there.
I'm sure somebody does.
Yeah. So is that a golf course or rehab? Creekside in West Virginia.
I really want to say golf course, but they do a lot of oxys in West Virginia. Let me go rehab.
All right, he's going with rehab. Incorrect.
Wow.
That is
wow,
fact
wow.
a beautiful golf course, Creekside, and it's right beside a creek. Surprisingly
Oh,
enough.
that's where it got its name. Oh,
I know.
So smart.
I know. All right, bonus points. Looks like Todd Marlie won the game, but Todd, bring it home with this. The name is Eden Hill and Cannon, Connecticut.
That's a rehab.
That is 100%. So you're in the zone now. Todd Marlie knows his rehab.
That did not sound like a golf course. That was a terrible golf course.
All right. Well, let it be known, everyone out there, Todd Marlie is an expert on drug rehab.
2 out of 3 guesses correct.
All right, let's get into this little audio. I want to share the video of it on the podcast broadcast. This is a hilarious clip. You would think this guy is from Florida, but it's not. All right, this is not a Florida man story. In fact, actually, this might even be in Arizona. It was a TikTok that went viral about a naked guy in a standoff and what he did to the SWAT robot dog. Oh.
News in Southeast Houston, just into our newsroom. There's a SWAT standoff at Mustang Inn that's happening near the intersection of the South Beltway and the Gulf Feeder. What you're looking at here is
and this is live, right?
Video from the scene. There is a naked man who just comes out, it looks like, right through the door, grabs a police robot, then dragged it inside, and you can see right there, slams the door.
This reminds me of what is this scary movie where, like, you know how they got the poltergeist clown underneath the bed, but then Sean Wayans grabs the clown and drags it under the bed, like no. That's exactly what happened here. The robot SWAT dog's coming in to try to SWAT, and the naked guy's like, oh yes, I want me some robot SWAT dog, and the robot SWAT dog's like, no, man, no. So brutal. What do you think he did to that robot dog? We don't even want to know. You can't even say on the radio.
We can't talk about that on the radio. Nope.
Probably gave it an oil change, though. That's for sure. Yeah. There's a little bit more.
We don't have much more information, but we can tell you that we're on scene. We're asking questions. And as soon as we have some more about this SWAT standoff involving this police robot, again, a naked man comes to the door. You can see we blurred it for you. Comes out, grabs the robot, takes it in.
And takes it in and dates it. So, yes, this crazy video that you just saw here on the podcast broadcast.
Poor lost doggy.
Speaking of which, we have more viral videos to share with you. YouTube.com/BeefVegan. We got more coming up right after this. Clear.
He's just like so drugged out. He's just like, oh, you poor lost thing. You look so hungry. Oh, come on in, boy. We're going to hire the police together.
That's so funny. He's like, oh, guess what? That's my robot now. Like, oh, no. And nobody's arguing with the naked man. We've already discussed this before. You know,
Never worth it.
Yeah.
How did that end? Did like SWAT go and retrieve their
They got to go save the dog.
You know how it ended. You ever seen Terminator? That's essentially how fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger started. You know what I mean? It's half robot, half man.
Yeah, you just invited the Terminator inside.
Yeah.
Dun.
He procreated, and now there's hybrid androids all over the place.
And that's how we got the T-1000.
That's exactly how we got T-1000. All right, you know, I'm not an advocate of cheating to win, but this guy, the way he did it while trying to sing in choir was actually kind of brilliant. You know, it's very difficult to hit those high notes, and this guy used a performance-enhancing drug to hit those high notes while doing a recital. Check this out.
I had that back there the whole time.
Beautiful.
Now, one time back in like the 8th grade or so, I went over to my friend's house and he had a canister of helium. And me and my buddy, being the idiots that we were just like all night, just taking big old rips off of that thing just to make our voice sound that. And it was like, as soon as we started, somebody across the country shot an arrow. And after about 5 minutes, that arrow landed in the side of our head, just like biggest like helium. Like, I don't know if we just needed to stop and breathe air for a while, but just breathing helium that long, not great. That kid, he's well trained. He did good. He did good.
Nice. Yeah. Well, it's fun playing with helium when you're that age. That's my takeaway from that hot take. I'll show you this.
No, we don't do hot takes, only takeaways.
Oh, yeah. Takeaways. Yeah, we don't do hot takes. You're right. All right. See this? This is a toilet that prevents skid marks, right? So scientists did a breakthrough. Researchers have discovered a way to fix toilet bowls so no waste sticks to the bowl.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Coming
Basically,
soon to a Taco Bell near you.
yeah. And I know, I mean, recently I had to deal with this. So I get reminded when I go to the bathroom, like, I got to clean that up here eventually. But scientists used 3D printing technology to develop what they're calling an abrasion resistant slippery flush toilet. So they wanted the material to stay super slippery, and they not just a coating that would break down over time. So they tested it by using sandpaper on it 1,000 times. So to make sure that it remains slippery with hard water, right? And the tests were a little gross, but they needed to simulate waste. So that's what the picture is. They use various complex liquids like milk, yogurt, and highly sticky honey. They developed a dye. And so they made fake shit, and they kept throwing it in the toilet to see if it would stick. That was their job. They got paid for this. Unfortunately, it's too soon to say when these new abrasion-resistant, super slippery flush toilets will be available for purchase, but they cracked the code. And now you'll be able to shit without leaving any evidence behind. And that's good news for, guys like us.
If this commode was legit, they would have tested it with tar. If anyone's ever been a roofer, you know how sticky that is.
Yeah, you're absolutely right on that. Yeah, tar for sure.
If that's coming out of your backside, please see a doctor.
I mean, they were testing it. I'm not saying
If
eat the tar.
that is coming out your backside, go see a doctor.
You're not the boss
Cannot
of me.
stress that enough.
You're not the
I
boss.
tar if I want to.
We earlier this morning we talked about, and I'll share with you this little tidbit. That OnlyFans last year made $5 billion, $5 billion with the B dollars, and it's huge. So OnlyFans users spent $5 billion on the platform, and that's up from 4.8 billion in 2021. So they actually spent 5.6 billion in total. And the cash spent on the OnlyFans went towards the purchase of subscriptions for content, including, photos, videos, personal chats, and more in exchange for exposure on their platform. And OnlyFans took about 20% of that cut, right? So out of the $5.6 billion,
Billion, easy billion, no big deal. NBC.
yeah. So yeah, the OnlyFans made that money, but then all those other people made a ton of money. The content creators made a ton of money. And one of those content creators is named Eliza Rose Watson. And she started putting up billboards around her home country in the UK to advertise her OnlyFans page and Instagram page. And I'm telling you right now that this is going to be something that we're going to see in the foreseeable future as a new norm. It's just a fact because they are generating so much income. That is their business. And here's a picture of the billboard. Now, the judge ruled, and I think the committee ruled that at first, initially, there was a flood of complaints and they were going to try to take down this billboard. But the committee have ruled that no, this is no racier than any other billboard that we have seen in this area over time, whether it's a CK or, hell, Whataburger, Carl's Jr., whatever the case.
You put Victoria's Secret on the other side of this billboard and nobody bats an eye.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. In fact, this does kind of look like a Victoria's Secret ad. But essentially, it's Eliza Rose Watson saying, hey, you like how I look? You want to see my areolas? Then follow, right? That's the entire business model. And she's spending a lot of money to advertise this. And guess what? She's going to make even more money in return, right? And that's how that works. And it's just the new norm. So again, they tried to fight against it, but it didn't work. And with $5.6 billion annually being generated through that website, there's going to be a lot of extra income to be able to market. I mean, hell, we might even get to a point, and I would hope so, because we tried to do this like OnlyFans model of the week, but imagine radio campaigns, because we have national ad but like campaigns like buys like Irish Spring. Irish Spring popped up a couple times this morning as they have advertisements on this station. That's a national ad buy. So just imagine these chicks saying, like Charlie Sheen's daughter, who has an OnlyFans page, doing a national ad buy on radio saying, hey, you want to see my vagina? CharlieSheen'sDaughter.com or whatever the case. OnlyFans at Charlie Sheen's daughter. I don't know what her handle is,
If we start doing reads for OnlyFans, like, do you like boobs? Then you should check out Todd's OnlyFans.
Yeah.
I do have nice boobs.
Yeah. You like bunions and crooked toes?
By the way, if you have a successful OnlyFans page for only $200 a month, I'll let you wrap my car in your billboard and I'll drive all around Tucson
There you go.
advertising your site.
The hustle never stops.
That's an excellent side hustle too. And honestly, we have met many people that probably have an OnlyFans page for sure. And so I do want to make that a feature eventually as the show continues to grow, hopefully, that we do like an OnlyFans model of the week locally or of the month to help like local businesses out. We are all about local, right? And
I
localism.
know a few OnlyFans ladies.
Yeah, you do? Like who?
That doesn't
I'm
surprise me.
such a scumbag.
No, it's not a scumbag. First off, $5.6 billion with a B, right? So I'm guessing you're not alone. I'm guessing it wasn't just Elon Musk paying everybody, right? So, obviously there's a lot of people checking it out. I did my own research, I only do the free subscriptions, but I guess there was a couple that I'm like, I'll throw you a month. Boom. There's a month subscription there.
No,
I
so
definitely checked it
benevolent.
out. Yeah. I did it basically as a charitable act though. I'm just a good guy.
So generous.
Yeah. I would donate the money and I would not spank these pictures. I
No.
like more video content personally.
Got no personal pleasure out of it.
Because you're a
himself.
philanthropist.
I am.
Uh-huh.
I am an investor. So we had SVP come in, and essentially I am the same way in like how I'm raising funds for other organizations. They don't want to be associated with
I
this.
want to be in this conversation.
Okay, you might be right. I did get a super nice letter from them. Speaking of which,
Yeah, I don't think you're gonna get another one.
well, yeah,
Oh, well, they sent an actual thank you card.
yeah, they sent an actual thank you card.
That's nice of
Oh,
them.
look at that.
Yeah, they're super sweet. Of course, it was Brittany and Bree. And then of course Brittany battle. She had a bad. Speaking of OnlyFans, right? Like we're like, that's a fucking OnlyFans name. Well, we said that's a professional wrestling name, but in our head we're like, oh, porn name for sure. So Bree said, "Dear Beef and Crew, thank you for hanging SVP Tucson on your show. It was incredible opportunity to share blah 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 fast pitch with your listeners. It was
Please don't ever mention us with OnlyFans.
yeah, a great time and can't wait to see my meme." Oh shit, we were supposed to make a meme.
That's Rico's job.
Oh yeah. Rico,
Rico, get on that.
Yeah, Rico. get
Hope
on
you're
that.
on that, Rico.
And then Brittany Battle said it was the most interesting /fun/unexpected interview, and I loved it. Thank you. We appreciate your time on the show and the mic and studio. P.S. If I ever become a pro wrestler, I'll come find you first. Right?
Professional wordy person.
Why is there a
What?
restraining order in that card?
Not a restraining order. That was not creepy at all. Come on.
They had a good time. They had fun.
They had a great time. Good enough to get it,
It said a thank you. It couldn't have
Hell
been that
yeah.
bad.
Yeah, I don't get much mail. So, it was a pleasure. And I was like, all right, good. Thank you. And, Bree's always on top of that.
An actual letter, not an email, actual letter.
Mhm.
Impressive.
Yeah, it shows a little effort, shows that they care, And now, of course, they sent one to everyone. It was courteous, but, they didn't have to say best one and you're the best.
But what you can do is hang yours up because everyone else is gonna throw theirs away.
I know. Yeah.
So the next time they come, they'll see the card and be like, he appreciated it.
You remember?
Mhm.
No.
Yeah, and Ken, we mentioned this on the air earlier this morning, and obviously very sad the fact that we lost two great wrestlers, professional wrestlers this week. Terry Funk, which was actually we seen that coming. Bray Wyatt, we did not see coming at 36 years old. And the reports, as reported and shared by Scott, I forgot his last name, a wrestling writer. Said he got the permission to reveal that Bray Wyatt passed away of a heart attack, and it was complications due to COVID. So he got COVID, and that exasperated heart issues that he had, and then he passed away from having a heart attack. And it was so sad about Bray Wyatt is that he was initially taken off of the card of WrestleMania, and it was reported that he was taken off of the card because he was suffering from potential life-threatening career and ending issues, and people assumed injury, right? But that wasn't the case, and now we're just finding out after he passed away yesterday at the age of 36, and it was first initially reported by Triple H's official Twitter page that it was in fact a heart attack, which is COVID related. Now he got COVID earlier in the year, and that created complications and heart issues, exasperated heart issues apparently that he had. I don't know, and we'll find out over time if these were heart issues that were genetic that he knew that he was living with, that he was able to deal with, but for whatever reason, COVID is still one of those silent killers to many, and there's many different forms of ways that it could take you out. Not just that you get really sick and boom. This is a situation where it's 8 months after the fact, right?
COVID got him.
Yeah, long COVID got him or something, and still heartbreaking, surprising, shocking is the best way to describe that. And there were reports as recent as like the past couple weeks that he was gearing up to come back, and he was basically overcoming these ailments and illnesses, and people are getting excited about that. And so yeah, super sad.
We love our listeners. You guys listen to your bodies. If you don't feel good, get checked out. It's better to know, because we want you here as long as possible. And
if you're
just be
pooping
safe.
tar, go see a doctor.
If you
Can't
shat
stress that
tar.
enough.
I'm Valdez.
There you go. See, just dropping a little wisdom here. Have you guys ever hooked up with a coworker?
Just once.
He loves my beef.
According to a new steamy survey,
I'll
a
give Bay one way or
lot
another.
of us have been getting on with a colleague. A new poll of more than 2,000 U.S. adults found that 40% admit to having sex and or a romantic relationship with a coworker. 40%. That's almost half. And out of those who hooked up with someone from work, 11% did it while in a relationship with someone else, and 9% were married at the time. I'm just sharing this information for any insecure, paranoid people out there. Have a great weekend. We got your beef dip coming up after these words. Yeah, like great. Like, oh, I know that bitch. I gotta call right now. You still working with Charles?
I got overtime this week. I'm sure you do.
Yeah. But yeah, no. So besides Todd, you haven't hooked up with any other coworkers?
Of course I have.
Okay, all right. You didn't want to admit that on the air. You're man slut.
You stepped all over the joke. We were having a gay moment over here, and you just gotta let that go.
That was a visual joke for our streamers, but we're on the FM side. That's why I kept it moving verbally. Trust my judgment on this, all right? Visual jokes are great for this. It doesn't necessarily work when I press that program button.
Yeah,
we know that.
We use the best words here. Only the best words. You're great at the wordy words. Perfect equipment.
All right, here we go. Oh, yeah. Is that mic stand messing with you here?
Yeah, I just decided to collapse on it.
All right, I do have another video I wanted to share with you as well. So I'm going through this. Oh, did you watch Blue Beetle? Did anyone here watch Blue Beetle?
Negative.
Yeah, you know what? No one else did in the world either. And that's the problem. Because the latest DC attempt to break box office records failed miserably, with Blue Beetle just pulling in $27 million during its first weekend of release.
It's just a lame name coming out at a time when everything is a little flooded.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, for somebody who I guess who's not well versed in the entire catalog of the DC universe, I thought that was a Transformer movie. Like when I was hearing and seeing Blue Beetle, I'm like, oh wait, there's a yellow one, I know that, and now there's a blue one. That's cool. Yeah, I mean Optimus Prime's the only one I give a shit about, but and I said his name wrong too, so I guess I didn't give that much of a shit about it. So yeah, I thought it was a Transformer movie, and maybe a lot of other people did too. Now the reviews are mostly positive, but it doesn't seem like the film will recoup the budget of $100 million. So another massive fail for Warner Brothers, which is bad news for HBO and Max and everything. DC Universe, it's bad news because the ripple effect of a string of failures like this is going to change the way they do business. It already has.
Well, I think this is the last of the pre-James Gunn in control movies. So I guess James Gunn is going to be their last hurrah of fix this or it's over.
And that makes me sad because we finally got a brown superhero and the movie was just like,
I mean, the movie's not even bad. It's just
that's
nobody
what Blue Beetle
cares.
is, huh? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because even George Lopez is in it.
It's
George Lopez is in it. They thought that would save the day. Be like, hey, you know how to connect to all of Latin America?
They should have got Alex Raimundo. That would have made the movie.
Look at you kissing ass. Yeah. No, I think George Lopez is a little bit bigger of a name, and I think Alex would attest to that too. And in fact, he's one of the original Latin Kings of Comedy as well, but he wasn't the headliner. Huh? Alex knows. He would take George Lopez's money any day of the week, though. You know the thing about George Lopez, people forget this, but sometimes he does some sketch shit. He was in a situation where he couldn't grow any facial hair because his kidneys were failing, right? He didn't know this. It was a condition he was living with, and he just he always kind of felt off. But he also he never was able to grow any facial hair, and he didn't know why. And then he finally went to a doctor, an expert, and they said, "Hey, you got this condition, and you need a kidney, right? And this is why your kidney is completely shot, and you need a kidney donor ASAP, or you might lose your life." And so George's wife at the time, I was like, "I'll give you my kidney, mijo. I love you. You're my forever." And so she did. And not only did he make a full recovery, he started growing this magnificent facial hair, big, thick mustache, and a goatee. He could grow a beard if he wanted to. And as soon as he got that facial hair, he looked over at his wife. He's like, "Oh, I could do so much better. I'm out." And then got a different woman, left his wife, who gave him a fucking kidney.
That's scumbag. Scumbag.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Now, George Lopez, I understand if you're a big fan and he's a funny guy and he's not all bad. But that was a shady move right there.
If Ali Farhang would have been her divorce attorney, he would have got that kidney back.
You are all about the positive plugs and mentions. Seriously, and PSAs. Stop giving away shit for free, all right? Ali is not a sponsor on this show.
Jerky. It's organic, and he licks every piece.
Is it organic, though?
I mean, it came from a cow. I mean, I guess. I don't.
Yes. Right. Okay, so maybe Todd has organic jerky.
Like an actual cow or street cows?
What's a street cow?
Which one is Safeway?
So street cow is a stray dog.
Oh,
no. That Safeway
yes.
doesn't sell that. No.
Yeah.
Also known in Mexico as tacos.
Okay, now
okay.
For the record, we're on here. Rocco 2.1 KFMA. Valdez is Mexican and native, so he could say this kind of stuff. That's all I gotta say. All right, I don't give him permission to say it. I'm just saying, if you're mad at that, blame the guy.
He always tells me it's better to ask for, what is it?
Forgiveness and permission. Yeah. Well, when you're doing stereotypes saying that, people are eating dogs in Mexico.
That's
you
on you. That
you
was
can go ahead and ask for forgiveness. I go to Mexico all the time. I'm not going to just stand for that. I'm going to sit and listen, but I will not stand and allow you to repeat that sentiment, my friend. All right, we got to wrap things up on this Friday morning. Before I leave, it's time to give you a beef tip. This one, let me ask this question. First off, do you guys wear deodorant? All right, good.
Yes.
Okay, good. Who knows? I know that I have a couple friends who never do because they believe that it's bad for you, and their BO is bad for me. Now, should you wear anti-perspirant deodorant before bed?
Mm-mm.
You don't put on?
I don't put on extra, no.
See, I always put on deodorant before bed. You sweat in your sleep, you know this, right?
Yeah.
Now, I guess it doesn't really apply to deodorant, but antiperspirant. They are saying, experts say, Slate.com actually did a write-up on how people wear antiperspirant should be putting it on before bed and not just in the morning. And the reasons is it works by plugging up your sweat glands, and it's easier time doing that if you put it on before sleep. So if you just apply it in the morning, it doesn't have as much time to start working. So if you head outside, you'll start sweating almost immediately. So most people don't sweat at night. So if you put it on before bed, it can really permeate your skin and do its thing. And that way in the morning, antiperspirant, you're not going to be sweating in the morning if you apply it at night. And that's your beef tip. I don't know why I'm sharing you that information, but
or just take a shower in the morning. I don't know.
Yeah, but then you're going to sweat again.
I'm a fat guy. I'm always
anyway.
sweaty.
It's Arizona.
Where if you use antiperspirant, you won't sweat as much. Do it under your boobs too. Your massive, delicious brown
Who says I don't?
boobs. Oh yeah, that's why it gets the ladies. All right. Well, you know what? It's been a great week. I appreciate you guys listening. Monday morning, we'll be back at it again. Sleep Theory will be in studio as our podcast broadcast guest. I'll be out at all the Jim Click locations on Saturday. So if you're in the market for a new or pre-owned vehicle, join me. Just keep listening to KFMA with Valdez. He'll let you know exactly where I'm at and where I'm there or when I'm there. Till then, Robin Nash is up next. Enjoy the rest of your day. Drive safe, ride safe, and as always, rock local. Thank you, Tucson. Thank you, Tucson.
Yeah, Tucson, thanks for sticking out here with us using the best wordy words that are available to you. Beat me, professional word person.
Peanut butter cup?
I will knock out all your
Peanut butter cup.
teeth.
See, that's how I mentally reach.